say that I was going to say if there was no COVID or pandemic, but perhaps that's not a very realistic question anymore. Now let's just do it in our reality, that it might be here for a couple of years and we might get another pandemic. But how do you see the way that we practice law changing or being the same? What do you see happening?
I personally think that like the law profession will have like a lot more flexibility and just like a better work-life balance. Like I think before, like working from home was like very much like a privilege, and now because it became a necessity, I think a lot of people and a lot of firms are realizing that, hey, you can have really productive lawyers having that flexibility of working from home, which I think is going to be like overall really beneficial like to the profession itself, because like law is like known to like burn you out, not have a work-life balance, like depending on what field you go to, like you might not even be in the same place like all year long. So I think in that regard, like I think that's going to be one of the positives, is that there's definitely going to be more flexibility, and I think more use of technology, finding new technology on how you can be the most productive and how you can really intertwine that with getting justice for your clients. So I'm really excited about that. I think that's probably like one of the most positive things that I'm looking forward to. But at the same time, like as much as like we love technology, like technology doesn't solve all our problems. Like I feel like a lot of like that genuineness and a lot of like that human connection is going to be lost. And like that's really unfortunate, because like law is inherently human. So if like that is not present, or is that not present 100% like how it used to be, then like what is law at the end of the day? Like what is like justice? What is like, how are you increasing the access to justice? Which is like a really big thing that like I've personally dealt with, because like I volunteered at like a nonprofit that like tried to increase the access to justice, was his main proponent. And there's so many different barriers just besides like getting legal representation, like employment, education, all these different things. So like if technology is one of the things that are going to be so heavily used, like how is that going to impact like the increase or the access to justice? Like you want to feel like you're making a difference and you want to feel like you're advocating for your clients, but if you can't to like your fullest capacity, then like what are you doing at the end of the day? And like that doesn't sit right with me.
Jasmine, what do you think?
Yeah, the whole work-life balance thing, because I use Twitter and I follow a lot of like solicitors and barristers on there. They all said the same thing. They get to spend more time with their kids. They get to just switch off. And I didn't realize, I knew the legal profession was demanding, but I didn't realize the toll. And I'm sure some of those lawyers didn't realize the mental strain that they had been putting themselves through for years and years and years, and that they don't have to work like a dog all the time. So I guess, yeah, that is a positive, but I don't know how long it will last. Like once you get used to working online and then they start piling up the workload, whether that's gonna, you know, go back to, if everything's going to go back to how it was.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because my work is all in the room, or it was. But I'm quite interested in what you're both saying, that the law is inherently human. And it's interesting, I hadn't really seen it like that. Because in a way, the practice of law is the opposite of that. Because it's not about being human. It's about what is the law? How do we apply it in this set of circumstances? And what's the practice of doing it? How do you make that happen? And the humans, if you like, are kind of caught up in this chaos, if you like, of making it happen for them. So the clients don't understand what's going on. From what you're saying is absolutely right. The lawyers are under incredible pressure. If they're barristers, they're traveling all around the country every single day, and they're working till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Solicitors are terrible at briefing them at the last minute. I mean, really, the life of a barrister is just absolutely awful, frankly. Change your mind, Jasmine, just saying. That's bonkers, right?
I was thinking as I was listening to you, Monica and Jasmine, that I think in a way when the law's not human, we see the effects of this. You know, the awful things that happen with the Home Office and the deportations of people, and, you know, the Windrush stuff. So, you know, if that's people literally applying the letter of the law or the Home Office guidance or whatever it happens to be, then and you lose that human element, then that's where everything goes horrendous, isn't it? Yeah. So that's made me kind of go all goosebumpy thinking about that. But it's really a really important point, and I think maybe the mission is then to get the law more to recognise its human side, and that's for you to pioneer on.
How can you change it when you're